I think this is just the poop line. You know what restaurant we're talking about.
What's going on over at the home of the red-headed mascot and iconic square burger patties? Well, let's find out with 10 reasons why Wendy's is failing. The drive-thru window.
Hello? Hello?
For Wendy's, the issues start before the customers even actually go inside the restaurant. The first problem point is at the one spot where everyone expects the least trouble, the drive-thru window. While never having to leave your vehicle to get your Baconator is supposed to be the ultimate convenience, it seems that Wendy's is making it the complete opposite. A third-party study of 1,500 major fast food drive-thrus showed some serious decline at the Wendy's window compared to the rest of the marketplace. Just how bad was it? Wendy's had the worst speed of service, worst customer satisfaction, and more incorrect orders than anyone else in the study. According to the study, the wait time at Wendy's was 20% longer than the prior year's average. This was the largest increase among all the brands included in the study. They also had the lowest score in order accuracy, managing to get less than 80% of customer orders correct. That means a staggering 2 out of every 10 servings going out the window had something wrong with them and needed to be returned to the store, causing even more service disruptions. Because of all this, they also hovered in the low 80% range in overall customer satisfaction. Wendy's is simply more prone to mistakes, less friendly to customers, and maybe most importantly, providing slower service overall. If you value your time, maybe skip that value menu. Digital dine-in disasters.
I gotta call you back. I gotta get a selfie with these fires.
While things might not have been as bad as the drive-thru, sitting down to dine in has presented a struggle of its own. Wendy's has lagged in modernizing the brick-and-mortar restaurant experience for the new influx of digital ordering and has recently developed some very specific strategies that will be incorporated into its new locations. The first of these newly designed spots is planning to open in Ohio sometime during the spring of 2023 and will include some forward-thinking concepts to help streamline the takeout and dine-in experience at Wendy's for the digital age. The concept calls them Global Next-Gen Restaurants, and the company was quoted as wanting a sleek and modern standard for all of the new designs. New technologies will be incorporated along some new key interaction points for customers.
Who are those guys?
Wendy's breakfast, Morty.
Wait, it's a Wendy's what?
First, Wendy's will tackle their drive-thru issues by introducing mobile order pickup locations, both inside the restaurant and at specific spaces outside in the parking lot. They will also introduce a separate pickup window and pickup parking spaces for delivery drivers from places like Grubhub or Uber Eats, so that their specific orders don't clog the outside drive-thrus or add to customer lineups inside. A newly designed kitchen that stretches from the front of each restaurant to the back in a long corridor style will be introduced to get orders out faster and more accurately. And in the interest of going green, each of these fancy new locations will be newly energy efficient to help decrease costs as well as carbon footprints. All of this will be boosted by new in-store technologies to keep the process moving quickly. With this much effort being put in, expect your spicy chicken sandwich to show up in record time instead of that usual wait. The constant chili controversy.
I like to bring in some of my Kevin's famous chili.
A menu item unique to Wendy's since the day the first restaurant opened, Wendy's home-style chili divides people into two camps: love it or hate it. It's a conversation starter on its own since, like Wendy's baked potatoes, no other chain in the fast food world sells chili. But the delicious dish has come under fire since the secret of its main ingredient was outed. It's the only time Wendy's uses frozen beef, and it's the least fresh of any beef in the restaurant. Any hamburger patties that are not served get frozen and are later used in the chili. While it's perfectly within food safety guidelines, some folks are totally turned off by the idea of lingering leftovers, while others applaud how it saves on food waste. And while a 2010 story of a lady finding a frozen human finger in her chili was proven false, the urban legend persists and keeps some folks from ever ordering the comfort food again. Surrounded by controversy, it's been a long time since Wendy's chili has been considered cool. New to our channel? Then take a quick second and hit that subscribe button. You're the best. Thanks. Social media speed bumps.
You hit a speed bump, huh?
Digital ordering wasn't the only digital issue Wendy's has faced in recent years. Their social media account has had their ups and downs in the digital world, too. Back in 2017, Wendy's discontinued their highly popular spicy chicken nuggets. Customers were disappointed, but Wendy's didn't take action until the internet tipped its hand over 2 years later. Famous musician Chance the Rapper took to Twitter one morning to lament the loss of the legendary spicy nugs, and Wendy's social media account responded. They challenged their followers, saying that the company would indeed bring back spicy chicken nuggets if their tweet received 2 million likes. In less than 48 hours, the threshold was crossed.
Did you get tricked into doing a commercial by a Frosty Cream cold brew?
The restaurant drew plenty of media attention for listening to its fans and using social media to create buzz for a product that wasn't even on its menu anymore. But for all that good publicity, Wendy's completely shot itself in the foot at the same time. On the flip side, dark clouds were brewing online that they have quietly ignored and that have disillusioned much of their customer base. At the same time as the viral chicken nuggets incident, other celebrities were using social media to draw negative attention to Wendy's. Accusations of human rights violations and unfair labor practices in their farming supply chain were levied at the company from famous folks like Alyssa Milano and Amy Schumer. And the website, www.boycott-wendys.org, sprung up. And it still exists today. 6 years after the social media callouts, over 90% of Wendy's shareholders voted for a transparent investigation into the company's farming practices, and the poor public perception continues. More social media struggles.
Admittedly, when I first got on Twitter, I pushed my agenda a little bit.
Spicy nuggets and dicey business practices weren't the first incidents involving Wendy's social media team. 2 years before those events, they had another ugly incident that went viral. In 2017, Wendy's Twitter account briefly posted a meme of the controversial online character Pepe the Frog in a red Wendy's wig. And while Pepe looks like a harmless little guy, posting him turned out to be a big mistake. Only 4 months earlier, the Anti-Defamation League of America had officially listed the character as an internet hate symbol after it was co-opted by groups using him for bigoted, anti-Semitic, and racist purposes. The tweet was quickly deleted once the backlash started, but the internet never forgets. After the post was removed, the company's social media manager released a statement. The usage was unintentional, and the community manager who posted it was unaware of Pepe's political connotations at that time. Just to be safe next time, maybe they should bring out a gif of their "Where's the beef" lady instead. Wendy's wants new owners.
LA is famous all around the world for its fine cuisine.
Welcome to Wendy's.
Founded in 1969 in Columbus, Ohio, Dave Thomas's concept of square hamburgers on round buns was unique enough to catch on in the growing fast food market. "Quality is our recipe" was Dave's slogan, and he named his new restaurant chain after his daughter, Wendy. As recently as 2018, Wendy's was still a serious competitor in the fast food market. It peaked as the world's third largest hamburger chain with nearly 7,000 locations. 92% of those restaurants were located in North America, where they remained popular, competing against other burger giants like McDonald's and Burger King. But perceptions have shifted at Wendy's, and it looks like their problems start at the top of the operation. In May 2020, Wendy's primary shareholder announced plans to pursue new ownership of the company. The prior 12 months had seen its stock value drop nearly 30% as its profit margins began to shrink at an alarming rate.
Use wisely? What does that mean?
I don't know, Morty.
It seems Wendy's was unable to stay relevant in a global market as well as some other fast food chains have, and they've continually struggled to find their footing in a new world economy. Shareholders have been holding out hope that a sale to new ownership might spark a recovery in the franchise's market value, and as the announcement of the company being shopped became public, the stock did respond by climbing 11%. While that big change is still to come, this is only one of several factors from both past and present that are contributing to the demise of Dave's beloved dream. Extended lack of European expansion.
Oh, I'd love a flame-broiled bopper.
So frustrating. We all know what we're talking about.
While Dave Thomas brought his famous square burger patties to Europe back in the 1980s, He didn't stick around long when the customers in Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg weren't fired up about Frosties. After Wendy's cleared out, a local fish and chips restaurateur trademarked the name Wendy's for his tiny shop and was awarded the trademark in 1995. That trademark extended throughout the entire European Union and prevented American Wendy's from using their name should they try to get back into the European market. The Baconator Bunch had been fighting the trademark in court since the year 2000, and thanks to the UK leaving the European Union in 2020, the door was finally opened when the trademark no longer applied in Her Majesty's kingdom. Wendy's opened their first location in the city of Reading in November 2021 and has aggressive expansion plans for 50 new restaurants. But because they're 20 years behind schedule, it might be too little too late. The missing link in Japanese expansion.
Captivity for 3 months. There are two things I want to do. I want an American cheeseburger.
With some tough luck in their efforts to expand beyond the American market, there was one place where square patties were considered a success for a long time: Japan. Opening their first Japanese location in 1980, Wendy's had succeeded there for almost 3 decades and had a total of 71 restaurants by 2009. But contract negotiations with their Japanese parent company fell apart, and Wendy's had to close all of its locations by the end of that year.
It'll watch you eat a Wendy's honey butter chicken biscuit while it has an existential breakdown.
The parent company cited wanting to return to more traditional Japanese food fare like beef bowls and move away from the Midwestern American charm of a Dave's single. It took 2 full years to find another partner, and over those 24 months of having no locations anywhere in Japan, the trust with the customer base was eroded. After sorting out new paperwork and finding another dance partner, Japanese Wendy's was back in business in 2011, but they needed to rebuild their customer base. By 2016, Wendy's got aggressive and merged with a local Japanese chain called First Kitchen to help boost their brand's footprint, and has taken to unique TikTok advertising to win back the general public. The customer base is being reestablished, but their 2-year disappearance has been costly. E. Coli Outbreak.
But you, just to be clear, you do think microorganisms pose a threat?
Oh, in the most dire terms.
While social media fumbles can leave a bad taste in people's mouths, Wendy's latest incident is leaving people genuinely sick. In the summer of 2022, Wendy's customers started to fall ill after stopping in for an old-fashioned hamburger, and it was eventually identified as a strain of E. coli bacteria that had contaminated their food. The cases began in July and lasted over 3 weeks, with reports popping up from 6 different states, eventually sending over 50 people to the hospital. With over 100 reported cases of illness, the outbreak was so bad that during the span, over 80% of people who reported illness from food to the Center for Disease Control said that they had gotten it from eating at Wendy's. While investigations were launched, no direct culprit was immediately found, but the common denominator from the majority of the customer reports suggested it might have been romaine lettuce used on Wendy's sandwiches. While the outbreak eventually ended, a Seattle-based food safety law firm has launched a class action lawsuit against the restaurant on behalf of over 40 people who contracted E. coli during the outbreak. Maybe for safety purposes, stick to the Baconator, since it avoids those pesky vegetables altogether. Food poisoning folly in Singapore.
Suddenly I feel a little sick to my stomach.
It sounds like you have food poisoning. What'd you eat?
The recent E. coli conundrum in the USA wasn't Wendy's first time dealing with a serious outbreak at its restaurants. They had the same issues previously at some of their outlets overseas. The chain expanded into Singapore in 2009, hoping that Frosties might catch on in a foreign land. They expanded at a rapid pace, opening 12 locations in their first 4 years. While that doesn't sound like a lot, keep in mind that it's a high number for a small island nation with a population of barely 5 million people.
Are you shaving your head?
We're going on an epic adventure, Morty!
What?
But their expansion ended up costing them. As speculation from the customer base suggested, Wendy's was rushing the training, service, and safety procedures along the way. This meant less attention to detail across the board and a severe drop in the quality of food being served. Several cases of food poisoning from at least 2 of their locations popped up in early 2014, and more people came forward as the controversy spread online, listing symptoms ranging from nausea and diarrhea to actual hospitalization. Customers turned away in droves, and the company had to pull the plug. By 2015, all 12 locations in the country had quietly closed, and Wendy's left Singapore's shores for good without any official statement. Check out more great videos. Just tap or click. Hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell.